Okay, so let's try sort of like wrapping up ourselves and see what learning we have. So I would like to try to ask you the definition of lipid and why is the definition of lipid very different of how the other three are defined. Okay, so in what way lipids is defined differently from the rest of the three other biomolecule. Can you point out one?
Uh,
Sige, go.
hydrocarbon, ma'am. Or-
No, the lipid. So lipid, we are talking about the whole biomolecule. Remember, there are four biomolecule: carbohydrate, protein, nucleic acid, and then lipid. Now, I want you to look at your learning, recall your learning on how do we define
Am-
carbohydrates? How do we define,
Amphiphasic or
how do we define naman tayo? So, ako ibutang ha. So, give me the definition of carbo. Sige daw. And then protein and nucleic acid.
kuan.
Sige.
Polyhydroxy.
Good! I like that. Okay, so polyhydroxy. Ano sa ganito? Polyhydroxy.
Aldehyde or keto. Carbonyl.
Go,
Carbonyl.
carbonyl pwede. Polyhydroxyaldehyde or
Or
polyhydroxyketone. Diba?
oxyketone.
What about protein? Saman to?
Made up of amino acids. Or
Good, very good. So, structure, ha? And then what about nucleic acid? I want you to picture out the structure in your mind and then describe it. Sige, go. Nucleic acids are... Okay, let me guide you. Carbo, polyhydroxyaldehyde, and polyhydroxyketone. Okay? And then when you say protein, oh, these are polymeric substance or molecule made up of amino acids. And then we say, what are amino acids? And then you say, oh, these are molecule with a general formula of carboxyl. Then you have an alpha carbon with R, which can be anything. And then you have an amino group. Okay, so you understand these things, right? You understand these things in terms of structure. Now, when you say nucleic acid, then you say nucleic acid are those big molecules which are made up of polymers
Yes.
of nucleotide. All right. And then you say, what are nucleotide? These are, monomer, which are made up of ribose sugar. And then in this ribose sugar, you have a base. And then on this base, there is a phosphate. Okay, so if you notice, each of these biomolecule are defined in terms of their chemical structure. Okay, so we're talking about chemical structure. There is uniformity. Okay, so there is general formula, like especially protein, amino acid, there's a general formula. So we can understand them in terms of chemical structure. So they are defined in terms of structure. What about lipids? How do
fatty
we
Fatty
acids,
define them?
acids,
ma'am.
ma'am. O
So
triacyl.
that is one of the group.
Glyceride.
Yeah, that is one of the group. When you look at fatty acid and glycerides, they are totally different structure, right? Unlike in carbo, if that is, glucose, and then it's really, six carbon, six membered ring, and then we just add them and they add polymers. Okay, so there is regularity or uniformity of this structure, amino acids especially. Okay, and then most especially the nucleotide. Okay, so because it's always base, sugar, and phosphate, and then you connect them together. But what about lipid? So you have fatty acid, that's one structure. Glycerides, that will be another structure. Okay, so how do we define lipids? There are plenty of groups, but we define them. So we cannot define them in terms of structure, right? Did we? Can you remember? How do we define lipids then?
Oil or
Sagol o fatty acid.
fats. Ay, oil or wax or dili
Yeah,
na.
I think I heard Jennifer. Jennifer, can you
Ma'am.
can you
Ma'am.
complete your sentence?
ano ma'am, sagol siya og fatty acid o unsa ni murag triacyl basta na murag
That is group.
alcohol. Joke. Sorry.
Joke. Okay, have you so this is the problem kasi wala mong kuya katanaog kwan. So ako na lang oy. So this is the difference, okay? Carbohydrates, protein, and nucleic acids are defined in terms of chemical structure. If a compound structure is within this category, then they are under such kind of biomolecule. Not so with lipid. You cannot define lipid in terms of chemical structure. You cannot say lipids are those with carboxylic functional group and hydrocarbon tail. No, you cannot define that. Neither you can find lipids in terms of the presence of glycerol. No, because there are lipids without glycerol. Neither can you define lipid in terms of sphingosine because not all lipids have sphingosine. Okay? Rather, lipids are defined in terms of their solubility. And what is it? So they are generally less soluble in water, and then they are more soluble in non-polar solvent. Okay, so that's how you look at it. So their structure can be anything. Okay, so there is no regularity in terms of the structure, but rather we just group them together, whatever they are, as long as they are less soluble in water, but more soluble in non-polar solvent, then we put them in lipid group. So that's how I want or expect you to see the difference of lipid from the rest of the biomolecule, because these three are defined in terms of their chemistry structure, but lipid in terms of their solubility property. Okay, so are you seeing it now the way I want you to see it, supposedly?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So I post a schematic diagram of the different groups of lipids. Why? Again, because there is no regularity of the chemical structure of lipids. They are in a variety of molecules. Daghan kaayo, okay? And this variety of molecules have different structure, entirely different structure from the other, but all of them share a common physical property, and that they are less soluble in water, but more soluble in non-polar solvent. Now, in the laboratory, we have some common non-polar solvents, and these are usually organic solvent. Okay, so one is ether. The other one is carbon tetrachloride. Chloroform is also considered less polar, less polar. So that means more on non-polar solvent. Benzene is also another non-polar solvent. So we expect this molecule to really dissolve in this solvent, but water, okay? So that's how you look at lipids. Okay na to, Ani, so far?
Yes,
Ariel, do you
ma'am.
have any question? So in the kitchen, what lipid can you see in the bottles in your kitchen?
Cooking oil, ma'am.
Good, cooking oil. Okay? Cooking oil sa pa. Wala na no. Wala na. Mura cooking oil ra, mantika. Anyway, so those are the differences between lipid and the rest of the molecule. Now, ato na po ta sa groups. Okay? So let's try to look at them in terms of groups. Okay, so give me one. group of lipids?
Fatty acid.
Fatty acids, ma'am.
Good. So we have fatty acid. These are usually associated, or the most, some books will really start discussing fatty acid. I mean, groups of lipids starting with fatty acid. They are described as the simplest, no, pinaka-simple na group of lipids. So we can, under fatty acid, we know that the structure is a very long R, okay, and then we have a carboxyl functional group. And then you should know, okay, so one thing we need to know about the fatty acid is that they have a pKa around 4. So in physiologic pH 7.4, they are ionized. So they exist as what? Carboxylate ion. Now, because this is polar, in fact, we have a charge, and this is very long non-polar tail. So we usually represent them with one polar head and one single long non-polar tail. Okay? And then be sure you know what are the types of fatty acids. So in terms of structure, we can group them into whether they are saturated or unsaturated. And I expect you to know the abbreviation. So the first number is giving you the number of the carbon, and then separated by a colon. So if you have 0, that means you don't have a double bond in there. But if you have a number, it tells you how many double bonds you have. And then remember, organic chem knowledge, double bond can be either cis or trans. And we know that naturally occurring fatty acids usually are cis. So we usually put C to tell the reader that the double bond, the one double bond is a cis. And then we have a delta, okay? And then we kind of have a certain number, let's say 9, okay? So delta means our carbon number 1 is the carboxyl carbon, but there is another method of assigning. We call it the omega, okay? And this is coming from the methyl N. So the methyl N is number 1 for omega. So there, see, so we have saturated, we have MUFA. MUFA stands for, ano man to? Perfect, nagdaan ni mag-review. Gaga, MUFA is what? Mono unsaturated fatty acid. Then we have the PUFA, which stands for polyunsaturated fatty acid. So if that is a PUFA, you usually have more than one here, maybe like 2 or 3. And then you have a comma here to give you the number of double bond. Okay, and of course, the other one is saturated fatty acids. Okay, and be sure you know, you can recall the reaction that fatty acid undergo. We have hydrogenation, which will give you trans fat. So be sure you know what is trans fat. Okay. So what else group you can give here?
Glycerides, ma'am.
Okay, so glycerides are those that contain what moiety? Their structure contains what?
Glycerol.
Good. So the glycerol 3 carbon 3 OHs trihydric alcohol. So under glycerides, we have 2. Okay, so what are they? What are these? Number 1 is?
Neutral og phospho.
Good.
Neutral
So,
glycerides.
okay, very good. So if I'm going to draw in carton representation, so this is my glycerol, and I have what? 3 fatty acid. Okay, they are called neutral because you cannot find any charge at all. Okay. Now, of course, because this has no polar portion, there is no polar head, just like this one. We have a polar head. Here, we cannot draw a polar head here, okay? So, they are very insoluble in water. Di gyud sila mag-interact sa water. That's why our cooking oil is really, it really separates if you shake it with water, okay? And then you recall we have two reactions here. One is saponification, when you hydrolyze that using sodium hydroxide, okay, and then you produce soap. And then hydrogenation, when your vegetable oil becomes margarine. Now, under nitroglycerides, we have either fat or oil. So what is the difference between the two?
Ang fat, ma'am, is semi-solid or solid sa room temp, then ang oil is liquid.
Very nice. Okay, I love you, Mildred. Ay, Mildred. Bethel. So they are all the same. Kay puro na sila neutral glycerides, but they differ on the physical state at room temperature. Okay, so kanang solid. So liquid is associated with a fatty acid with more double bonds than those in fat. So it doesn't mean that fat really do not have unsaturated fatty acid. No. Okay. A good example is coconut oil. Coconut oil is very high in lauric acid. Lauric acid is 12:0. So it has 12 carbon saturated. But why is it liquid? It is because of the shorter, we call it a medium length fatty acid. Because remember, the number of carbon also affect the melting or the boiling point, such that the lower the number of the carbon of the fatty acid, the lower is the melting point. Okay? So coconut oil remains room temperature in Philippines, for example. It has unsaturation, degree of unsaturation, but it is liquid because of the short chain. Now, beef fat is solid at room temperature. That's why when your beef soup becomes cold, you will have white thing on the bowl. This is because while you have 18 carbon with, of course, different number of double bonds, they are very long chain of carbon, okay? And they have high. In your book, you can find table there where you are given a source of the fat or oil or the source of neutral glycerides, and you are given the percent of fatty acid. So vegetable oil usually have more MUFA and PUFA than those fat which are solid at room temperature. Okay. Now, the other one is what? Phosphoglycerides. So, on samani, I hope you can picture in your mind, you have two fatty acid. You still have the glycerol. And then instead of the third fatty acid, just like in fat or oil, you have a phosphate instead. Okay, and remember PO4 has 2 minus here available for bonding. So that makes this thing amphipathic. Okay, amphipathic. That means they have a non-polar tail and a polar head. And we usually represent them in terms of the polar head and the two non-polar tail. So the polar head represents the phosphate, okay, and the X. So how do you call this one? Glycerol 2 fatty acid and phosphate. We have a name for this. Starts with the letter P. Can you remember? Allah.
Oh.
Tingalan. Phosphatidic Acid. Ha, kinanglan na palang kahang chemistry ba ta? Kani phosphatidic acid, kaning the whole thing, okay? Phosphatidic acid. Now, X here, if you look at your book, there can be 4 possible things. One is serine, pwedeng serine. Serine is what? This is an amino acid, right? Pwedeng ethanol amine. And then the other one is choline. And then pwede siya o I'll just say carbohydrate or monosaccharide. Monosac. Okay? So when we put or attach serine here, okay, so how is serine, ethanol amine, and choline similar in the attachment here? They are attached through the O in the molecule. So, naani siya OH. This is where they attach in your phosphatidic acid. So, ang name, if you have 2 fatty acid, 1 glycerol, 1 phosphate, and serine, so you call it phosphatidylserine or phosphatidylethanol amine, phosphatidylcholine, and of course phosphatidyl glucose or whatever. Okay, so these 3 in fact are very common, and then we call them amino alcohol. So this is a group of amino alcohol. Kaya nga naman, you have an OH and then you have an NH2, the amino group. Kini po na amino group na po siya OH. Choline is also amino group.
Ma'am, ang kanang phosphatidylcholine ma'am ba mao to siya ang katong lecithin?
Lecithin. Kani.
Ay, lecithin na ma'am.
Lecithin. Oh, naana siya sa kwan anak. Naana siya present in egg. Okay, so one of the experiment, for example, if I may share, one of the experiment we have in med school students sa ilang biochemistry is we extract lecithin from egg yolk. Na unsa man tong lecithin? Phosphatidylcholine. Kining lecithin is also a product sa industry. This is a product added in ice cream. Okay. Let's talk about the chemistry here. So we have a polar head and then we have a non-polar tail. So unsa man ni sila? Amphipathic. This one has a positive and negative charge somewhere. The positive comes from the amino of serine, ethanol amine, and choline, and the negative comes from the phosphate, one of the O in phosphate. So unsa man na siya? Very polar head and then 2 non-polar tail. So this one and this one are unsa na sila? Very good emulsifying agent. So we can see this one as an good emulsifying agent. Kani pud good emulsifying agent. So ang one of the gamit of lecithin planga is emulsifying agent in ice cream making. Ice cream, one of the component of ice cream is milk, and milk contains fat, the neutral glycerides, okay? So we don't want fat globules in your ice cream. Could you imagine ka magkaon kag ice cream unya? Malasap-lasap nimo ang mga fatty, di ba? Dili ta ganahan, no? What we want is a creamy, nice thing melting in our tongue when we eat ice cream. That adds the sensation of ice cream. So the manufacturer will see to it that the fat, because remember they are neutral and they are very insoluble sa water. Okay, and of course you have milk, for example, is mostly water. But we don't want, I mean, the manufacturer in ice cream does not want the fat to separate or float on the ice cream mixture during stirring, because these are all liquids. Well, when they try to freeze, no, they don't want separation of fat so that you will have fat on top of your ice cream and then you have the milk down to the cup. You don't like that, okay? You want very uniform, soft to the tongue. So the fat are what? Broken into tiny droplets. And how would they do that? I hope you can remember the mycel. So it works like that, no? So the one that's responsible for breaking down the fat into tiny droplets are the amphipathic lecithin in ice cream. Okay, Nata? Are we good so far on neutral glycerides and phosphoglycerides? Again, they are called phosphoglycerides because they have phosphate and they have glycerol. Are we good on this so far? Because we move
Yes,
on to the
ma'am.
next group. Okay, so what next group you know so far? Sige. Atong
Non-glycerides, ma'am.
good, I like that. Okay, so I like the term non-glycerides. So when you say non-glycerides, sa may meaning ana in terms of structure?
No
Walay
glycerol.
glycerol, ma'am.
Good. So these are the things nga mga walay glycerol. Okay, so what are they? Number one, katong
Waxes.
pinaka-simple. Good. Okay, so natay waxes and
Steroid.
katong na wrong spelling.
Sphingolipids. Sphingolipids, ma'am.
Spingo. Spingo.
Ay, spingol. Ay, wrong
Spingo.
spelling.
Oo. Wrong spelling na anak ha. Sorry for that. Ako rin kopya sa internet niya. Tanaw ko wrong spelling man di ay ni. Anyway, that should read like that. Spingo lipids. Okay. What are waxes? In terms of structure now.
Ay,
Ah,
gatong taas kayo og OH.
Taas
Group
kaayo
mo
og unsa man. Ana ra duha ra
OH,
na sa
ma'am.
kabuk, di
Then
ba?
R.
Ang usa fatty acid nga very long, di ba?
Alcohol.
Okay, very good. Alcohol pero very long. Okay? So I hope you can differentiate. We have a bond here. Okay? Usa ra ka ester bond. Okay? To differentiate, neutral glyceride has 3 ester bonds. That's why if you have your blood analyzed in the hospital, the medical technologists, the chemists in the hospitals, I call them chemists in the hospitals, katig analyze man sila. They will analyze them in terms of triglycerides. Ang ngalan nila sa hospital, triglycerides. Which kita nga mga chem, nga mga artiketa, triacyl glycerol. That's the chemical term we use for them. Triacyl because there are 3 acyl. Unsa nang acyl? Ay sa to, RC double bond O bond break. Ay, sa mani, RC double bond O bond break. Mo na acyl, di ba? Okay, so if you look at closely the structure of fat or oil, katong neutral glycerides, you have 3 acyl group nga naka-attach yung glycerol. That's why we call them triacyl glycerides. Triacyl of glycerol. Parehas na sila. Same, they are different description of the same molecule. Yan sa hospital, triglycerides nga gi-analyze sa mga medical technologies. Okay. But waxes is only a monoester. Usara siya ka fatty acid, usara pud kabog yang alcohol. And all of these fatty acid and alcohol are usually saturated. So very hydrophobic tayo siya. Okay? So in biological system, they are usually functioning as protective layer. Asa man, kanang mga wool of the sheep, okay, na sila protective layer. In the feathers of the birds, and the surface of the vegetable and fruits. Kanang apple, nagasinaw-sinaw. Napo na sila yung wax. Okay? The fur of the dog, for example, kabantay bitaw mo anang dog ug mabasa sila, di ba? Muwirig-wirig ra na sila, chug, 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 chug. And then suddenly they look dry, okay? So because actually they just use their mechanical movement to drive off the water. The water is not actually chemically sticking to the fur. It's just on the surface of the waxy thing covering their hair. And then kung ilang iwirig-wirig, mga tangtang to mga water. And then they seem to be just dry. Okay, so they are protective. Another thing is the carnaoba, which is used in, this is always mentioned because this is used in car polish, mo ni siya floor wax sa cars. This is extracted from a Mexican palm, carnaoba palm. Nya mo na carnaoba oil. Okay. I hope you remember. I think I remember I talked about the sperm whale, di ba? Katong spermaceti oil. Again, this is coming from the sperm oil. Spermaceti oil comes from the sperm whale. Unya, unsa man na siya. Again, long fatty acid with long alcohol. Okay. Unsa ba tong sphingolipids? They contain sphingosine. Sphingosine is a very long molecule, so you should see the structure. But one thing you have to look at sphingosine, kana siya OH, nya na siya amino. Okay, and then napod siya OH3 on nya na siya. Wait, stop lang nga ako i-call ha. Sorry. Hello, Day. Day, classic po, Day. Kamute, Day, ha?
Wala lagi na-redirect mga imong mga minions.
Wala ba? Sige. Ako rin yung ikuan, Day. Kaklase pa ko, Day, plangga, dear.
Sige, bye.
Sige, bye-bye. It's okay. Bye. Hala, asa na ta? Okay, so there is one double bond somewhere on what I want you to bear in your mind is the sphingosine usually interact with fatty acid, but the fatty acid interacts through the amino group. So you produce an amide bond. Kabalo naman mo ng amide bond, no? The C double bond ani will attach to the amino group of the amino group naman. The amino group of the sphingosine. Okay, so what are the possibility here? Did I talk about, do you know already the ceramide? Ceramide is fatty acid and sphingosine. Okay, so kung i-add mo ng fatty acid o sphingosine, you get a ceramide. Ceramide. I hope you remember the phosphatidic acid. Mura siya inani, phosphatidic acid na pwede siyang i-attach og something. So parehas po ning ceramide, you have a sphingosine and then you have a fatty acid. Then we can attach another thing. Okay, what is another thing? Okay, so through this one, we can attach a monosaccharide. Pwede siya monosaccharide. Pwede siya og oligosaccharide. Another thing, pwede po siya og phosphate, okay, and then X. Are you following the structure here? Ariel, wala gyud padungog nimo, Ariel. Anyway, sphingosine it can be attached, again, sphingosine can be attached to any of this, and then the amino group is always attached to the fatty acid. And then the different combination possibilities here will produce you different kinds of lipid under this group. Okay, a very important sphingolipid that I want to stay with you is the sphingomyelin. Unsa man na? That is a combination of sphingosine. Okay, I'll just put it a box. And then naa siya, of course, fatty acid. And of course, you have the phosphate. And then you have the choline. Okay. So sphingomyelin is made up of sphingosine, fatty acid, phosphate, and choline. Okay, this one is a very important component of the myelin sheath. Are you familiar of myelin sheath in biology? May I write it down? Myelin sheath in biology. Uy, nangawala naman yung akong mga anak. Asa na mo ng snacks na mo? Hello, speak up. Are you in, do you know something about myelin sheath?
Murag kadungog ram ma.
Kabalupon mo anang inyong nerves. Ha?
Ay, check na sa tissues na, ma'am, no?
Nerve.
Ang nerve.
Naani mo, mauni imong nerve, imong axon. Diba, they work like electrical circuit.
Ito na axon.
Katong cells, nerve cells. Okay. The parallel story of this is the electrical wire. Okay, so akong i-draw ang electric wire. Ba naa kay copper wire diha. Okay. In our house, you can see that your electrical wirings are coated with polymer, mga rubbery-like or plastic-like, no? Marag na siya coating. This is to protect us from electrocution because we're not supposed to touch the copper wire, right? Because this is where the electricity is how do we call that? This is where the passage of electricity. Okay, and then if we touch that, surely may electrocuted ta. So in the house, our electrical wirings are coated with non-conductive material, mga plastic or mga rubbery thing. Okay, so we call them insulator. Now, if you have two wires nga mag-connect ana nya, wala siya coating, unsa may tawag na to ana, di ba na ay mga electric fault, sana faulty electric wirings, di ba? So there are naay problema to sa mga wirings kung magtapot na sila because they are not properly insulated. It also worked the same with our nerve axon. So kanang atong wire na man ay electrical conduction diha. That is what the brain is trying to make signals through our nervous system. So each of these axon or mga neuron wire na to, they are coated with myelin sheath. I want you to imagine if you have a unsa man yung pagkaon nga for example lumpia unsa man or stick but anything og na kay stick diha and then imo ni siyang ilukot so that ang cross section ana murag inana o galukot na ka ana unya imong nerve diha sa ilalom sa sulod. So our nerve is coated with myelin sheath. And you know myelin sheath, they are made up of sphingomyelin, mostly sphingomyelin. Sa taas kay nag-sphingomyelin niya. So ilang function is for insulation of our nerve tissues, axon, which conducts electricity from the brain towards the muscle or any parts of our body. So there is a disease associated with people whose myelin sheath are eroded. Kanang mga tangtang ba, just like our electrical wirings in the house, nga mga tangtang na or gikaon sa mga rats. Okay, so we don't like that. Kaya pwede ta mag-faulty electrical wire, pwede tang masunog. Also works the same with our nerve endings, for example. So we don't want disruption of electrical signal here. Okay, so ug ma-disrupt na, this is because matangtang ang imong mga nerve, mga myelin sheath. Maybe because you are sick or genetic disorder. So if you ever heard or you can read about that, we call it multiple sclerosis. Sclerosis. So this is a degenerative disease associated with the paklot nga mga myelin sheath. Unya, kuan siya kanang once it will start so grabe na gyud ka nga magka-grabe, no? So your nervous system signal will be disrupted. So naiuban nga their speech becomes slurry or dili na sila their brain signal is not properly transmitted to their body. So for example, ni think sila nga mupungko sila, unya ang ilang kamot mo inilihok, mga inana ba? Okay? So mga
Dili na mo ang sakit ni Stephen Hawking.
dili siya. Now if you are kung naamoy katong book bitaw nga kuan, ano sa ganito biochemistry by Campbell, naagid siya picture do here of a very beautiful actress nga nagmasakit siya multiple sclerosis. So pwedeng di slurry yung speech niya, ang memory po nimo ma-affected. I don't know kanang di ko kaayo ka po ano. Dili na siya multiple sclerosis. What I want you to have to connect yourself is the chemistry of this nga kining myelin sheath mostly are made up of sphingomyelin, and sphingomyelin are lipids which are made up of sphingosine, fatty acid, phosphate, and choline. Okay na ta? Kana mo gina siya always example of the function of sphingomyelin. Usa ra na sa mga function of sphingomyelin. Okay na ta so far for this? Because we can move on to the next slide. So I want you to look at your book again. So there are sphingolipids na sphingosine siya, and then there is a fatty acid, and then there is a monosaccharide. Ako rang ibutang diya og inana. Okay, so this monosaccharide is either glucose or galactose. Okay. And then they are, especially the galactose, they are important component of the cell membrane. Okay. So usually they are under the group, they call it cerebroside. Cerebro for brain. So when you hear the word cerebroside, I want you to automatically picture in your mind a sphingosine with fatty acid, and you have a monosaccharide and galactose. Ana, mga cerebroside. Kana pong glucose, under po na siya sa cerebroside. Again, nervous system component. Okay na ta. And there is another with still on the sphingosine. So there is sphingosine and there is fatty acid. Remember ha, amide ni siya sige. Kanipod amide. But the monosaccharide is attached to the sphingosine. This is your fatty acid. So sphingo ni siya, this one is the fatty acid. And then you have plenty. Ako rang ananaon ha. So this is an oligosaccharide. Okay. So one very common also in oligosaccharide on the sphingosine with fatty acid is the ganglioside. So bitawag sa ang ilang group is gangliosides. So they are usually attached on the surface of the outer side of the cell membrane for signaling sila, and mga receptor sana murag inana siya. I want you to imagine yung inana niya puro sila mga oligosaccharide. Okay, for cell recognition rather inana. You can see in your book daghan kaayo siya mga sugar moiety. Okay, that's why we call it oligosaccharide. Still again they are under sphingolipids. Now, asa na ta? What else groups you have under non-glycerides? Duha ra ba? Waxes and sphingolipids?
Like steroids, ma'am.
Good. Okay. So let's go to steroids. Steroids are molecule with this. Ay, batias ako. Ang imorang memorize nun ani ang ring system. Basta makakita kag inana nga ring system, steroids na siya. So there is ring A, ring B, ring C, and ring D. And then One very, very popular example of a steroid is cholesterol. Onya, if you have it in your plants, sterol po ng ilahang equivalent. Okay, so plants have plenty of sterol, kita, mga animals, cholesterol. Okay, but both cholesterol and sterol has a general ring structure system, which is this. Okay, so anything with that ring structure. Now, some maybe will have A as aromatic, and this one is aliphatic ring, or others having this aromatic and this one aliphatic. The thing is, it is a hexagonal shape ring, hexagonal shape ring, hexagonal and pentagonal. Okay, now let's go to cholesterol. Cholesterol is usually synthesized in the liver, and the body will synthesize for our body's needs. If we are taking in plenty of cholesterol through our diet, then the liver will slow down its manufacture of cholesterol. If our diet is very or zero in cholesterol, then our liver will synthesize cholesterol for our body needs. So cholesterol might acquiring a bad reputation, but you should know that cholesterol is a very important precursor of many useful molecules in animals. Okay, so we're talking about cholesterol as precursor to make hormones. Cholesterol is also part of the cell membrane. So it has structural nga. Katog yung cholesterol ragyod naa siya sa cell membrane. Cholesterol is also the precursor to make bile salts. Kanang naa gani sa, unsay ngalan sa, unsay Bisaya gani anang bile? Apdu. Kabalo pud mo unsa ng apdu.
Hindi ba na ako, ma'am?
Katong pait kaayo. Remember ka mo, nakapalit mo ka ng kuan, bangos, niya, mayingon dito nga kuhaan ng apdo, kay mapait atong isda, o na apdo.
Yes,
That's a
ma'am.
bile. Kabalo mo, anak, dear?
Yes, ma'am.
Or sa kita mong taong nag-yellow din lang, naawasan mo na siya apdo, di ba? Have you heard about that? Stuff like that, no?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Anyway, mo na siya. Kana lang nga, bile salts na. Bile salts are the detergents in our intestines. So they are amphipathic molecule. They are the ones that emulsify our dietary fats. We will understand it better kung maabot atas metabolism. But one thing for sure, one thing you should know, bile salts function as detergents in our small intestine. So, sayunan ka ha, makikita siya hormones, wala pa rin ko sa vitamin D. Na kanang cholesterol, if we put ourselves under the sun, that's why having sunlight is good. Kana, especially in the morning. Kanya ang better pag inana sa morning chemistry. It is good to exercise early in the morning. So what happened? You drink a glass of water, you drink a glass of milk, and then ato kas gawas, and then exercise ka. When the sunlight touches your skin, the cholesterol, of course, na ay mga dagang pathway, series of reaction na may siyang vitamin D. And once you have vitamin D in the body, okay, so wala pa vitamin D, wala vitamin C. Ay, vitamin C ka ng sun, di ay sun, sorry, vitamin sun. So when your body synthesizes vitamin D, naana kay vitamin D is helpful in absorbing calcium in the bones. So I hope you can see the chemistry in health now. Munang ang doctor will advise you to take exercises in the morning, early in the morning, a good sunlight. Kay of course, dili pa kay init, wala po yung skin cancer. Dili po pwede sa udto kay, of course mo, your body will produce vitamin D, pero hello, ang radiation na po. Okay, we don't want that. That's why we want it early morning, because we are after of the vitamin D that will be produced in our body. And if you drink milk, so milk has calcium because useless po ng calcium lang wala kay vitamin D, so it cannot be absorbed and you know, the body will use your calcium. So mo na perfect chemistry ana. Drink glass of milk and then go outside the sun, have your sun hitting your skin, and then there go your vitamin C, calcium absorption, strong bones. Anyway, the point here is cholesterol is needed by the body in these ways. Okay, so when is cholesterol bad? Okay, so ato na ta sa next nga. Anyway, di pa day ko sa hormones. So hormones na kay sex hormones. Saan man pag-develop atong mga beautiful body, wala tay sex hormones. The sex hormones again come from cholesterol. So now we love cholesterol. There are also hormones that are coming from there. We call it mineralocorticoid hormones. So this is to give you a balance of your mineral and kidney function. So associated with your blood pressure. Then glucocorticoid hormones. Again, this has control on our metabolism. See the importance and use of cholesterol in the body. Now, when is cholesterol bad? Okay, so let's go to lipoprotein. Okay, unsa maning lipoprotein? Diyan na ta Bethel. Lipid and protein together. Okay. Now, lipoprotein complex in the context of our discussion is this is the aggregation. Okay, so aggregation, magtapok sila, aggregation of protein and lipid. And usually they form a sphere, mga balls of different sizes. Okay, so naakay, remember the phospholipids? So sila mo'y boundary, and then there are proteins embedded. Pero surely, ang sulod ana, I want you to imagine it as a ball. Kanang basketball bitaw, di ba, na kay ball na gunitan niya. Halo man na sa ilalom. Okay, imagine that inside is katong tag. Sa katong tag, triacylglycerol o cholesterol ester. So og cholesterol nga nay OH maning cholesterol mo form man na siya ester, nya fatty acid na siya. Mao nay sulod sa imong lipoprotein, cholesterol ester of cholesterol and tag. So different lipoprotein has different content of protein and different content of glycerol and triglycerides. Okay, so unsa man to, 5 to ka book, hinumduman nimo na tanan anak ka, chylomicron, VLDL, ILD, then VLDL, saan na to? VLDL, IDL, isa pa, LDL, o HDL. Pila na kabuok? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so be sure you know the differences in their density, the differences in their protein and cholesterol and triglycerides content. So the bad cholesterol here is the associated very high of this content in the blood plasma, and if you have low of this. So this one is called the bad cholesterol, and this one is the good cholesterol. Again, because LDL function of picking out cholesterol and triglycerides in the bloodstream and putting them back to the liver. Pag abot sa liver, they are processed into bile salts, unya ibutang dito sa imong bile, kato imong abdo. And then the bile will be emptied through your intestines, and kining bile mauni na ka brown, brown, dili pa. Dili, bile salts, yeah. At apat tayo guys metabolism, di sa pa mag-istorya ng anong brown atong tae. Anyway, one way of removing cholesterol in the body is through the bile. Kaning cholesterol, gamon niya bile salt, niya kaning bile salt, ibutang niya sa bile, niya kining bile, i-empty niya sa intestinal tract. So, it's one way of removing cholesterol. And then, if you have very high HDL, then it is associated with good cholesterol sa ato pa, healthy ka. Pag taas ka diri, high, bad ka. Because what is the disease associated with very high LDL is atherosclerosis. Kanang naa kay plaque sa imong mga blood vessels. So the higher the plaque, the thicker the plaque, the high blood pressure you will have niya until ma-clog up na ni, mamatay na ng tao. Anyway, one note I could give is there are sphingolipids that are also, this can also be described as phospholipids. Kaya nga naman, they contain phosphate. Unsa man to katong sphingolipids. If you notice, sphingolipids has phosphate. So sphingolipid can also be put under phospholipids, which are in other books is set as another group of lipids. Okay na ba tani? Are we good on this already so far? So mao na ni atong last nga group of our lipids. So any questions so far? Hi. Hello?
Ma'am?
Anybody home?
Hi, ma'am.
Any questions so far?
Wala ra, ma'am.
Okay, let's go now to the last portion of this lipid chapter. We are now going to talk about, ako sang i-share. Ayun sa man, are you seeing my screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Ako sa slideshow, ha? Okay, so let's look at now cell membrane. Okay. Diri na ta sa cell membrane. This is our last topic. So if that is the cell, this is our cell membrane, and we have a model called fluid mosaic model of the cell. You also have it in your biology. So usually what is the picture that we will find is these are the very important components. So usually the lipid bilayer.
Ma'am?
Anong gitawag na siya bilayer? Because there are two layers here. Yeah?
Ang whiteboard, ang makitaan.
Ha?
Katong steroids
whiteboard?
pa ang makitaan.
Wait sa. Mag-stop sharing sa ko. Dayon, share screen. What about that?
Okay,
Na
ma'am.
naman.
Ana? Can you see the cell? Okay. Sige, balik na ta. So our last topic will be the membranes, the structure of the cell membrane, and we have a model called fluid mosaic. Okay, so this has been a long or discovered many years back, and then science is trying to, make it more better as technology is increasing. So what we usually expect if we hear the word fluid mosaic model of the cell membrane is that there is sort of like a mat you will see, and then this is a lipid bilayer. Bilayer means two layers. Okay, I hope you can see the two layers here. So there is a polar head and there are two non-polar tail. Okay, now because of the similarity in terms of chemistry polarity here, so these heads interact with each other, okay, because they are polar. And then the non-polar tail has hydrophobic interaction. Okay, so they aggregate with each other because they are, you know, same in terms of polarity. So the very high length, the longer they have, the higher hydrophobic interaction they have, the higher the van der Waals, then the better their interaction. Now this is one layer. Now, where is the other layer? Because we were saying it is a bilayer. So the head is on the other side. And then there is the hydrophobic tail. Okay, so I hope you can see the sense here. So they have very high hydrophobic interaction. And then why should the polar head position that way? Now, from the source here, I hope you can see that this one is outside of the cell. And then on this side is the inside of the cell. Now remember, the inside of the cell is aqueous environment. The outside of the cell is also aqueous environment. So I hope you can see that's why the polar head points downward, because this is where the water is, and then you have another position of the polar head because again outside there is water. So this is what we call lipid bilayer. Now there are experiments in the lab that really prove this. What they do in the lab is they freeze the cell. Okay, so they freeze and then they slice it off, and sort of like, I hope you can imagine, if this is solid, they pull it off, and they get two layers. So one of the layer is called a leaflet. Leaflet. Yeah, kini pod leaflet po na siya. Okay, so we call it leaflet. Okay. Now, in the lipid bilayer, there are other things, and in fact, many things that are found. One of that are the embedded protein. Okay. So there are protein. Kini mga dagko, these are the protein. Okay, they are embedded. Now, there are protein that serve as a gateway. Kini mailan nimo dia passage kinaa siya bangag, so molecules can pass through them. And then there are those that are really just protein all throughout. Now there are protein that are spanning from out to in of the cell, really expanding through the lipid bilayer, and we call them the integral protein. I don't know if there is look at the name, integral membrane protein. So the protein really encompasses from the inside to the outside lipid bilayer. There are also protein that are just located in one side, and they are not expanding up to the other end of the bilayer. So we call them peripheral protein. Okay, peripheral, then we have the integral. And if you see this, usually they are the carbohydrates. They are carbohydrates. And if the carbohydrates are attached to this violet, which are the proteins, so tanaway lang ngalan, glycoprotein. Now, there are carbohydrates, wala diri. So there are carbohydrates that are actually connected right to the membrane because there are lipids. Ako lang i-draw diri. Okay, so the lipid portion is embedded, and then these are oligosaccharides. So gitawag na siya glycolipid. Glycolipid. So this is the carbohydrate portion, and the whole thing, of course, is the glycolipid. Okay, so this is again the fluid mosaic model of the cell. Now, I think I have it in my other PowerPoint, the movement of the lipid in the membrane. Okay, let me draw that. Okay, so this lipid here can move on the same side of the leaflet. Okay, so we call it the lateral. And then there are also those that transfer from one leaflet to the other leaflet. Can you remember the word we used to describe when the lipid from one leaflet transferred to the other leaflet? What kind of movement is that? Okay, so movement from within the same leaflet is lateral. I'll hold you responsible of recalling. What do you call that movement when the lipid in one leaflet transferred to another leaflet? Okay, I think I have it in my video recording regarding the movement. This is the lateral movement of lipids within the same leaflet. So I'll just hold you responsible of going into that. Okay, be sure you know the term and the enzyme associated with the transfer of lipid from one leaflet, like inside to the outside or outside to the inside, and both inside to the outside and outside to the inside. So you have the flippase, and the scramblase enzyme. Okay, let's go now to the dimension of this. Let me see if we have dimension. Okay, there's no dimension. Now, this figure will show you that this one is frozen, and then they increase the temperature, okay? And then this is so idealistic that your fatty acid portion of your amphipathic phospholipid or sphingolipid, actually this is the actual, no, when you increase the temperature, they are sort of like, you know, having that movement. They are dynamic. The essence here is this is the dynamic. So there's movement of the hydrophobic tails within the lipid bilayer. You can correct me. I think this is 30 angstrom. 30 angstrom. Just please correct me if I am wrong, okay? So this is around 30 angstrom. Anyway, you have it in your book, ang depth niya. I mean, ang yung thickness di ay. Thickness. I don't know if this is 30. Let me just check. Okay. So let me correct that. This is 60 angstrom all in all. Kining hydrophobic, kinirang hydrophobic is around 30. 30 angstrom. So tag 15 ay nana. Okay, so around 60 angstrom across the lipid bilayer. Around 30 angstrom of that is actually all the hydrophobic tail. Another thing we need to learn is that the composition of the outer leaflet is not the same with the composition of the inner leaflet. Okay, so we have here a table to show us that if this is the middle of our lipid bilayer, then these are the different composition component of the different membrane lipids. Unsa man tong mga membrane lipids? So look at the name: phosphatidylcholine, phosphatidylethanolamine, phosphatidylserine, phosphatidylinositol. Kanang inositol is a carbohydrate. And tanawa, sphingomyelin. Remember sphingomyelin? It is sphingosine, fatty acid, phosphate, and choline. Okay, so look at here. Ang iyang inner membrane for dirita sa erythrocyte, that means this is red blood cells. Red blood cells ba ng erythrocyte? Kinsa is sweet to dihag koan? kanang mga blood. Erythrocyte, if I am not wrong, this is the red blood cells. So the outer leaflet is very high in phosphatidylcholine, in fact, zero siya phosphatidylserine, and then very high in sphingolipid. But the inner leaflet, that means this is now the layer leaflet facing the cytoplasm of the red blood cells. So you have very high on phosphatidylserine and phosphatidylethanol. This is also to tell you that in other animals, it can also vary in different animals. And also in different cells, the composition again of the inner and the outer leaflet also is variable. Okay, so that's the lesson we can extract from this the next slide. Again, these are the protein. So you have the model now for the protein. Ang ako lang i-kuan diri is, I hope you can see the alpha helix. So there are proteins that are really that really have alpha helix expanding through the length, the thickness of the membrane bilayer, the lipid bilayer. So, human na naman, we are done with protein already, and we are done na discussing alpha helix. So, I hope you remember the rise in the alpha helix. For each turn, there are 3.6 amino acid, and I want you to recall what is the height of that in terms of nanometer or angstrom. And then, because there will be a question, I would ask you to calculate how many amino acids you will need for in the alpha helix that expands through the lipid bilayer. So I will give you something to work out. And then there are also beta pleated sheets, and usually they have the same katong murag barrel shape. Okay, so these are alpha helix. So this one are example of integral protein. Okay, so they are receptors, or they are a channel for molecules to pass in. Okay, I like this one. This one is very, very beautiful. Okay, so I have a question here. You are going to calculate how many amino acids you will need for one alpha helix to expand through the lipid membrane. Okay, so this is maybe the phosphatidylethanolamine, or maybe this is the sphingolipid, or this is the phosphoglycerides nga naay choline. I want you to look at the glycoprotein here. So this is the fatty acid, glycolipid rather. Okay, gitawag siya glycolipid kanaa kay lipid portion, onya you have a carbohydrate portion. Okay. Asa naman yung protein ako? Wala dire. Link protein. Dira ang protein sa taas. Okay. Onya, this is the lipid portion. Sa man ni? Duha ka fatty acid, and then this is a glycerol, and this is the phosphate. So phospholipid siya. Okay, so kini is lipoprotein, no? Lipoprotein because you have a protein and then you have a lipid portion. Okay, so lipoprotein. Okay, this is just to show you that the ribosome, sort of like asking our question, how do these proteins got embedded in the lipid bilayer when you have a very hydrophobic interior? So there is a protein, translocon. This is the protein that facilitates the protein to be embedded, the integral protein to be embedded or inserted in the lipid bilayer. And of course, when you have after the synthesis of the protein, so of course we know that the sequence of the amino acid will determine the final shape of the molecule, and after the insertion, so they will again assume their biological shape. Okay, so mo na ilang forma. Now, these are just again learning that there is some kind of portion in the membrane called RAF, and this is where your glycoprotein, mo ni mga glycoprotein. Drawing lang ni anak, no? And one way we learn here is that because remember we say this is 60 angstrom, ne? Okay, 60 angstrom, but we are told that once you have a protein somewhere, it can change its dimension. So, for example, kini, okay, so the lipid bilayer is very dynamic, so that near protein they can increase in their thickness, no? So vary ang ilang thickness. Okay, so we call this thing as RAF, kanang naay mga protein with cholesterol. Again, this is a way of recalling how they are inserted. So once they are inserted, this is what will happen. The protein will either adjust, or it is the bilayer that will adjust. Again, it would depend on what is the conformation, the native form of your protein. Okay, so again, the versatility of the lipid bilayers, so dili gyud ka makaingon nga strict 60 angstrom gyud, no? So sometimes they can be as thick, especially if they are near the protein. Now let's go to the transport. Transport is the last of the last. Okay, so if this is the cell, there are, because remember this is the lipid bilayer, and because of the hydrophobic nature of the interior, not all substance can just pass through. Of course, small substance can diffuse, okay, but there are those substances that cannot get in easily as anything, okay? So what are these? We have metabolites. When we say metabolites, these are compounds we associate with the fuel of the cell. For example, glucose or fatty acid. Okay, and then there are metabolic waste that needs to be out of the cell. For example, urea or carbon dioxide. So how would the cell sustain its viability and system? So there is such thing as transport. Okay. So there are two kinds of transport way of murabag tanaw na to what are the learnings that we could get here is that there are two kinds of transport. Ani ni but na to ha, this is how I write it para makita ra nimo understanding kay kapag basa ng mga words diha. Okay, so remember we need to transport metabolites, we need to transport water, some ions, and then the waste of the cell will need to be transported, okay, in and out of the membrane. So the transport system is grouped into two. One is called active, and then the other one is passive. Okay, so active are those that need ATP, and passive are those that do not require ATP. Nya, under the passive, we have two. So duha na po. One is simple diffusion, then the other one is facilitated. Okay, so how is that? When we say passive, so wala ra ko kailangan og kuan ha kanang ATP. So when you say simple, that means it can go in and out through the cell membrane. So unsay example ani mga water, carbon dioxide, nitrogen gas, oxygen, sa puto kong gingon, oxygen, carbon dioxide, katong mga gas for respiration, and then water, of course, can pass through. Now, katong facilitated, these are bigger molecules, they are polar, and if they are polar, they cannot just pass in through the non-polar barrier. So what happened? They need to get in or out through a protein. So diri sila moagi protein. Example ana is glucose. Kung kanang glucose from the blood will get into the red blood cells, for example, by concentration gradient, the glucose cannot just pass through the cell membrane. So it has to find a port. Some books will call it gate. mura gate nga gate. And then, of course, this is through the integral protein. Okay? So facilitated, active, and non-mediated transport. Now, kini mo ni, nindot ni kanadyo drawing. Okay, so see, this is the protein, and then the molecule or the substance can just get in and out. Okay, so this is how they are transported. Oh, so there is a permeability coefficient here. So the higher the number, the faster they are transported through the membrane, and the lower the number, that means the slower they are transported through the membrane. So these are some of the numbers. Kini plangga sa katong synthetic, kini sa real na. So unsa man, water. So water is easily transported, no? It's transported faster, and then glucose is a bit slower, of course, because glucose is bigger than water. And then you have the chloride and all those. Say the less hydrophobic, the slower they are to cross the cell membrane. Okay, so these are just to show you some of this protein with their alpha helix, and they were able to facilitate the transfer or the crossing of the molecule because this protein can move. Okay, so they can move. They serve as a gate. So kung mao daw niyang outside, mao daw niyang inside. So this is an open to the inside, no? Mara siya ni abri. Okay, so look at this. So this is open to the inside, but this is closed to the outside. And this is open to the outside, and then this is close to the inside. Now in Seoul, I think I have posted just this morning a video on the sodium potassium pump. So this is a gated and active transport in the cell membrane, and it is animated, so it's so easy to understand and follow. Okay, so kanang symport versus antiport. Kanang symport is the channeling or the movement of ion in the same direction. For example, kani, they are transported on the same direction. So usara pananglitan na inside to the outside or intermembrane space to the matrix kanang mitochondrion. Antiport is opposite, no? Ni adto siya diri, ikan siya diri ni adto dito, and again this is the sodium pump. Okay, na ako'y animated ani which is so easy to see. Okay, what else? Ionophore, I just want you to be holding responsible of reading what is ionoform, no? So from the word ion, they used to allow passage of ion through the membrane. Again, these are just example of those molecules that facilitated the transfer of ions, okay? This is a top view, and this is the cross-section view. Sige lang, you just read. Aquaporin is used to facilitate the transfer or the passing of water. No? So water can diffuse through the cell membrane. They can also pass through the aquaporin. So this, I want you to read a paragraph of this in your book. The chemistry is so beautiful. No, how the beautiful chemistry there is how water passes through one molecule of water at a time. So in ana ka tiny ang iyang pore, and then dili magdungan po og agi ang water. They will pass through one at a time. Why? Because of the asparagine and 192 and 176, whose sign at different angle really facilitate the movement of water nga. At this point, their hydrogen bonding is broken between them, so that they will make hydrogen bonding with the protein. And then right here, the position of the water is such that they are driven through down here with that kind of position because again of the of the charges in asparagine. And then finally going into the other side of the membrane. Okay, unsa pa channel potassium. This is the component of the sodium potassium pump. Okay, sodium potassium pump. Ana ni dear, ha? So if this is the cell, okay, if this is the cell, this is the inside, okay, and this is the outside. Okay, kanadang outside, tanawa yung potassium. So na ako si outside, asa kong outside. 4 millimole. Anya, ang sodium very high, 12 millimole. Ay, dili. Asa naman eh? Wait, sa dili sa'yo. Dera ang, daghan man ang sodium. Daghan ang sodium sa gawas. So, 155 millimole. But inside, the potassium is high. So, 155, 145, the anyong. 155 millimole and potassium. Ang sodium nako is only 12 millimole. Okay, so by diffusion, unsay may tabo? If the cell has this potassium, can you please tell me what movement based on concentration gradient, where would potassium go and where would sodium go? Hello, speak up.
Mugawas ang
Higher
potassium
From lower
ion,
concentration, di ba?
from higher to lower concentration man, ma'am. So, from inside nga potassium, mugawas ang uban, then naiuban nga sodium nga musulod.
Okay. So, unsa may equilibrium ana kung ibutan na nato. Without the pump, no? Okay, so granting inside the cell is 155 K and 12 Na. So if this thing could happen without intervention, what will happen at equilibrium? So may tabo sa equilibrium. Pila kung potassium dire? It will be lower than?
Lower than 155, ma'am.
Okay, unsa ni ibutang nako lower than 1. Unsa symbol ana? Lower than 155 ana. Di ba?
Yes, ma'am.
Yung plus unsa may tabo? Greater than 12 millimole ana. No. So, kana daw ma-equilibrium plangga, patay na daw ta ana. That's why we call it homeostasis. How have you, di ko ka balong pronounce ana. Akong anak na med school, may kang pronounce ana. Homeostasis. So sorry. So anyway, atong to keep our life, we should be away from equilibrium, no? So what keeps us alive is our body is moving to keep us away from equilibrium. Okay? Buhi ta, out of equilibrium ta. Pag dili ta ganag equilibrium sa tong body, our body is working, natay sodium potassium pump, for example, okay? Stick na ta sodium potassium pump. Okay? If there is no intervention, the potassium will equilibrate with what is in the surrounding, di ba? So if that happens, equilibrium happens, patay na, no? Patay ng animal anas. Dili pwede nga ma-equilibrium. So the body needs that. Potassium inside the cell should be high, should be around 155 millimole. And the sodium should be just low, around 12 millimole. Okay? So the body has to keep it that way. Otherwise, something will be undesirable. Undesirable thing will happen. Okay? So how would the body keep this away from equilibrium? Nga dapat dili mangikyas ning 155 o kining 12 mole, dili ni siya mutaas. So the body will have to spend energy just to pump out sodium. Pump out sodium and pump in potassium. Balib ako. against the concentration gradient. So when you say against the concentration gradient, the pump has to transfer the ion from from lower concentration to higher concentration. Mura siya uphill. Okay. So asa may let's say this is our normal cell. So which one is low? Sodium, diba? Sodium. So we want it low. So unsa man, sodium will be going out kay against concentration gradient. Kasi if we are not going to pump out sodium, magkadaghan man yung sodium because sodium will diffuse inside the cell membrane. So unsay tendency? We don't want sodium to increase higher than 12 millimole. So that's why the cell has to pump out sodium always. Okay, and this is going against the concentration gradient. What about potassium? Because the cell has higher potassium content, so some of the potassium will have to go out because of diffusion. Kanang may diffusion, these are the simple panabang muagi siya. So this is kanang diffusion. I hope you can see it is passing through the cell membrane without using any energy at all, no? So manggawas ra sila. But then the body needs to keep it 155 millimole. So what happened? The body has to pump potassium from outside to the inside to keep the concentration this way. Do you understand what I'm trying to blah 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 here? So have you seen the dilemma here? Tangga dear? Because that will lead us to appreciating the sodium-potassium pump ATPase complex. So you have 10, ang ipakita ra diwi, kini gitagsa-tagsa ra niniyag kuan drawing para makita nato ang components. So there are 10 alpha helix, isa pa naa siya A, unsa maning A? Protein man ni siya, and then you can just see that in your book. And then it will facilitate the coming in of 3 sodium ions. There are 3 sodium ions, and going out, coming in. The out, going out. The coming in of 3 sodium ions, and the going out of 2 potassium ions. Okay? Unya, unsay kinahanglan nimo? For every 3 sodium in and 2 sodium, nabali lagi ko. 3 sodium in and 2 potassium out, we need 1 ATP. Okay? The body is spending 1 ATP. Okay? Again, the movement here is from low concentration, from low concentration to high concentration. So whatever it is, if we're talking about sodium here, so which one is low? In terms of sodium, so what is low is inside the cell, so in of the cell. So we will get it out of the cell, right? Tangga, can you check on me if wala ba ko nabali? Low concentration to high concentration. So ang low concentration is inside the cell. Okay, so inside to the outside, but potassium is low outside, but high inside. Okay. So again, just remember this number. You need 3 sodium for every 2 potassium that will pass by. Mao gini ang ratio, ha? So every 3 sodium coming in one direction, there will be two potassium going on the opposite direction. And take note of this number, there will be one ATP that is coupled. So without ATP, this transfer of potassium and sodium will not happen. And so we call this system active transport. Okay, now this is a drawing of the cycle where, okay ni mas better ni tanawon. Sodium out, sodium, potassium in, then tanawa kung sa ka ATP. Okay, so this is just a cycle. So the attachment of one phosphate in the complex will just change its conformation, will change rayang shape. And once the shape is changed, it will facilitate the entrance of the particular ion. And this ion again will attach to the protein, and the attachment of either sodium will cause movement, conformational changes of this complex such that it facilitated the entrance of the other ion. Okay? So again, ang atong ratio ani 3Na is to 2 potassium, then is to 1 ATP. Okay, take note of that number. You just read this one in your, kung man is a small intestines nino, small intestines. Okay. Essence ani nga there are those transport or the crossing of the cell membrane of one molecule which is facilitated by the energy through the transfer of another molecule. Example, ikaon ka glucose, okay? So this is mo na ni mong tinai. So the glucose has to get into the endothelial cell. How do you call that? Di ko kabalong pronounce. Anyway, this is the small intestines. Sa cilian is yung small intestines. We need to absorb the glucose from our diet, so it should get into the cell of the lumen. And then how can glucose can come in? It can only happen if there is also sodium getting inside. So the movement of the sodium in this direction will facilitate the movement of glucose in that same direction. So muna gitawag og co-transport system. So you need one system transport to facilitate the coming in of the other. Okay, hala, nahuman na ta. Any question? Kaya tagana ta mo something to do.